Welcome in, welcome in, welcome into the Wild Boar Show. I'm Chris, the Wild Boar. Thank you all so much for being here. Thank you to all of my guests. We are still coming to you from the Badass Beer Festival in downtown Oldsmar. Absolutely beautiful weather out here, beautiful people as well. Quick thank you to all my guests that have swung by today. Sharon Edwards, appreciate you swinging by. Beavis, it was good to see you. Of course, David Noble was by. Just a reminder, friends, I am indeed a licensed auctioneer, real estate agent. I can sell your house and everything inside. But getting right to that with the theme of the day, we talk about cool people in our community and cool businesses that are there. And David Noble just told me to come on by and told me to meet this gentleman over here, and I'm just meeting him with you for the first time. Welcome in. I can hear the applause. They're excited by you. Kip Kelly. Kip Kelly from the Crooked Thumb Brewery. Welcome in, man.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, buddy. So beautiful event, huh?
This is great. They've been doing this for a number of years now. They've changed the location a few times, but this is a good spot for it. So it makes a lot of sense. And what I'm really impressed with is the turnout today. I saw that VIP line was waiting around the block.
Well, they heard you were here.
Yeah.
You know, so
right.
Kip, that's it.
Despite me being here, they still lined up.
Cool. Listen, I know where you are. I've been over there. As a matter of fact, when my son is old enough to know and really understand, he's 9.5 now. I know it surprised you, but anyway, he was so small. Gosh, he might have been 6 or 7 months old, and we went to an event, and he was with us, and it was very, very loud inside. We had little headphones for him. It was adorable. But nice. He loved it. We took him outside, and he was like, "No!" He started to cry because he wanted to go back inside. He loved it, probably because it was air conditioned. But Crooked Thumb Brewery. Yeah, I'm tapping the Bucks thing here. Tell me all about Crooked Thumb.
I like the fact that you were comfortable bringing your son to the brewery.
Yeah, man. You guys have all sorts of cool stuff out there.
We do, and that's kind of an issue, the family friendliness to the brewery, just to craft breweries in general. It's kind of a lightning rod a little bit, and we're always trying to figure out the best way to accommodate young families, but at the same time, be responsible and make it an adult situation as well. So where we draw that line is kind of a moving target a little bit. But you're making me think now that maybe maybe time to revisit some things. I don't know, and we'll see.
No,
we like having families there. We think it's a big part of craft beer and community is having families, being pet friendly, and having people gather to debate and discuss and enjoy.
Well, the beer-centric crowd in general, Kip, I'm sure you would agree, is just a friendly group, man.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, we had 10 years. We just celebrated our 10th anniversary.
Bless you.
Thank you. It's been I think we've experienced probably what every craft brewery has experienced over the course of their growth.
Tell me.
Well, we started in a small town. It's still a small town. Safety Harbor, Florida is where we're located. A small town that's growing, that has new people coming to town, new investors coming to town, development happening. So you've got maybe small town infrastructure and government that has to adjust to kind of bigger money showing up into town. That causes some conflict. You've got longtime residents that kind of are used to being in a bedroom community, and now you've got more commerce happening, and that is a problem. You've got parking issues. There's tons of zoning. We are in a light industrial area that's not far from residential, and we were the first kind of retail business into that area of town. So that had, that was an issue. It still is. Where people park, if people park in front of people's homes, noise. We're allowed to have live music at the brewery. We have a noise ordinance. Sometimes the bands get a little loud. So we have to be very mindful of a lot of factors. And 10 years in, and we're still doing that. We're still making sure that we adjust. We can have music every night of the week, but I would never do that. That would really be uncomfortable from the neighbors.
Sure, I get it.
And even on the weekends, we'll maybe if I have a band on a Friday night, I'm not going to have one on a Saturday night.
Okay.
Because that's unfair also to the neighbors.
Sure.
And so there's no rules on that. It's kind of subjective. It's like, how do you feel about being a good neighbor and fit in with everybody? And I think we've done a pretty good job. There's always incidences, but for the most part, we've done well, and our customers are the best. For a brewery that we sell alcohol, obviously 10 years, the incidents of the police having to come, or they're so infrequent.
Yeah.
The stuff happens, of course, but we just have such a good cool, laid back crowd. You know, that's our mantra is stand up beer for a laid back crowd.
Like it.
And
Stand up beer for a laid back crowd. I like it.
And that's always been the case. Our you know, it's just, I think it may be somewhat the nature of our property. We have a big 6,000 square foot beer garden outside.
Yep.
With these big live oaks that cover and shade most of it. And I think people just like, you know, it's in an industrial area in a town, in a densely populated part of Florida here, Tampa Bay, and you turn a little corner and now you've got almost like a park kind of setting. And I think it just is like a nice oasis for people, and it just kind of lends itself to more of a relaxed vibe there.
It's great. You've got a couple of things to unpack in there. One of the things that we've done almost 30 years here in Oldsmar is we've had the Oktoberfest celebration. I have to laugh because it was about right here, and probably with that lattice that you see over there. Yep. Maybe one jockey box and 2 taps 30 years ago, and then it grew to what it is. And I'm bringing that up, not to brag about it, although I will, but the number of incidents, we just had 8,000 to 10,000 people through the doors, had a great time, no arrests. Right. 1 or 2 escorted out.
And I think that's typical of the craft beer crowd. You know, it's just kind of a relaxed, kind of a chill crowd. It's maybe an early drink.
Sure.
And the drink, you know, it's the liquor crowd that like is the late night where maybe you got to kind of wonder or worry about
tequila festivals. Yeah,
You know, beer is a suppressant, right?
Yeah.
So like you kind of have a few, and then you're like, you peak, and then you're like, maybe it's time to go home.
Yep. And I got to pee a lot. That's it. But, all right, Kip. So tell me how you where you're from originally, how you ended up in the business, and a little bit of that. How you ended up becoming a brewmaster.
Yeah, well, I'm not a brewmaster, so I'm not going to steal anyone's valor. Kenjiro Tomita is our head brewer and has been since the day we opened, and he's terrific. But no, I had another business in Safety Harbor. I'm from Indiana. I'm from Northwest Indiana, just outside of Chicago. And
they drink beer there too.
They do. They're the Midwest. You know, we eat and we drink. So, but no, I moved down here in 2004, I think it was, and I had another business for a while, and my mom passed away.
Oh, I'm sorry.
And like I think if I really think about it, like that was kind of the moment where, you know, I remember we had the wake for her, and there were so many people that showed up, and she had such a life of, you know, and touched so many people's lives that I started thinking about like legacy and stuff like that. You know, I'd been down here for a few years at that time, and we had a small little distributor business that we were selling computer chips, and you know, I had like little kids, and my life was basically home to work, back to home, and being a dad, which is valuable, and that was very rewarding. But in terms of just networking and making like a mark and being able to leave a mark, I wasn't doing that. And so I started playing guitar. I taught myself to play guitar, and I started writing songs. Cool. And so then I was like, I think I'm going to go out and play these for people. And I was had my mom heavily on my mind at the time, and so most of the songs were about her. And it was my way of kind of honoring her and keeping her spirit alive.
Love it.
And from that, I remember in Safety Harbor in particular, everybody had Sierra Nevada Pale Ale.
Oh yeah, buddy, one of my favorite beers.
Yeah,
I love Sierra Nevada.
It was one of the first times where I like the next day I was like, man, I have a taste for that beer.
That
was
good stuff.
You know. So I got into kind of home brewing a little bit, and I thought, you know, I think Safety Harbor would really appreciate and embrace a local brewery. You know, Dunedin Brewery had been open, and in some respects, I think the Safety Harbor people feel like, you know, Dunedin was like the small town too, but a little bit farther ahead of us.
Yeah.
And we need, you know, they had a brewery, but we want a brewery. And so that's what I did. I set out to I wanted to do that, and I wanted some place where like my musician friends could play music. And I found this property, and I just walked in the door one day, and I said, hey, would you be interested in selling your property? And he chased me out of there.
Yeah.
And then about a year later, I went back, and that guy had passed away. I found out that his partner had owned the property, not him, and the partner's wife was really still owned it. I tracked her down through like whitepages.com and the Pinellas County Appraisal's office. And just, you know, it was the right time. She was willing to sell it, and it made it happen. And so then it was like, oh, now I got to put a brewery in here. I told her that that's what I was going to do. I remember what she told me Rebecca Sanders was her name, and she said, you know, I got a lot of people that are asking for this property, and they all want to keep the same business going, but I just feel like it's time for new blood. She told
Love
me.
it.
And I was like, wow, how nice of someone to think about, instead of like, you know, just like maybe thought, well, you know, we had our run, our time is gone. It's time for like a
Sure.
new, you know, page turn, and we benefited from that. And so we opened in October of 2015.
Okay.
We were open for like 2 days a week, and we would run out of beer for 3 months. We did that, and then in January of 2016, we opened full time, 7 days a week. And
God
we've been
bless
open
you.
7 days a week ever
How
since.
about that? So you've been here for 21 years. When did mom pass away?
My mom passed away in 2010. It was just 15
2010,
years.
yeah, okay.
Yeah, and then the other thing, and I kind of got on a tangent there, but
That's okay.
the other thing was, you know, what I thought the brewery would be a great, and it has been. I thought it would be a great way to gather people, have a place for people to discuss all sorts of ideas, a real community spot.
Right.
And I also wanted it to be a philanthropic venture for me, where I could do stuff for, you know, like I had this like breast cancer awareness thing that
Okay.
I really wanted to do. And the first few years, like up until COVID, we did a Drink Pink.
Okay.
We did a mixed berry Berliner every year. It was called Pink Beer. And we would put that out, and then we raised money for, I found the mammography voucher program out of Morton Plant Hospital. They were the beneficiary. We did that for like 5 or 6 years. And now you're making me think I need to bring it back. But it got to be very difficult for me personally.
I gotcha.
I found that, you know, especially like on the day that we would can it, you know, just seeing the tangible form of
Sure,
the
sure,
beer,
sure.
it just, I kept reliving the kind of the sorrow and the depression and all of that from my mom's passing. And I found myself as a person not being like my best me, you know,
Okay.
kind of hard to be around.
Yeah.
And just on the verge of tears a lot,
Sure.
and just edgy. And I thought, man, maybe I need to take a break from this. I'm holding it too dearly, too
Right.
preciously. But maybe, you know, after a few years now that I have some separation, some distance, and maybe we can bring it back, because it really was a great event. And I loved working with the hospital. Morton Plant was terrific to work with, and I loved writing them a check like every year.
Well,
That
I was going to
great.
say, Kip, you know, one of the things that might ease that pain and sorrow, it never goes away. People say, you know, hey, you know, eventually, well, time does heal, but it doesn't cure. It heals it, but it doesn't cure
Yeah,
it. So
right.
I think that if you had some success stories with the checks that you've written, or if you could somehow follow that and find that the philanthropic contributions that you made, boom,
Yeah.
that made a difference. It made a difference in
Right.
somebody's life. Believe me, I get it. And everybody that sits in the chair with me has that in common. Listen, I was born in Tampa. We moved here in 1973.
Yeah.
Not 1873, 1973. And that's because the Gran Torino broke down here, I think. But anyway, I grew up in a community that didn't have any people. Safety
Okay.
Harbor, although it was across the bay, it was still all the way to Safety Harbor. So
Right.
I understood the small town feel. My dad was a two-term city council member. He died in office running against Roniker, and it was kind of the strangest race in the world because they loved each other, great friends, mutual respect, whatever. But when Dad died, 350 people came to his funeral.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Wow. Holy smokes. You're like, okay, I thought he was just like the old guy in the corner with the
Yeah,
members only
right.
jacket, you know,
Yeah.
smoking on his Marlboros or whatever. But no, you find out that what he did quietly was he
Right.
really made a difference. And you did it
Yeah.
too, man. You
Thank
did
you.
it
I
too.
appreciate
So
that.
let's get back to beer for a minute,
Yeah,
though. All right.
yeah.
So cool. I love it. And I was going to ask you about philanthropic stuff because I know you all are out there in the community. I see you. I enjoy going to the Cricket Tom. God dropped a baby in my lap when I was 48 years old. So he's 9.5 now. And it's the coolest thing that ever happened. But I just wasn't like, we were like, hey, are you bored? No, it
Yeah.
wasn't like that at all. Actually, it was a wild story. He was a member of our family. And at the end of the day, you know, it was a calling. So now I just have to be careful how far deep I go, just in case he watches this thing. But anyway, so we did a full-on adoption. He's cool, but he's growing up at Oldsmar too, and he's learning the same types of things that you were taught and that I was taught. So all right, so you're down here 21 years
Yeah.
from Northwest Indiana, and you're home brewing. And did this happen to you? You were having so much fun home brewing that all of a sudden the next step was like 20 grand and you needed more room?
Well, I mean, I don't think I really thought that I was ever going to be a brewer.
Okay.
You know, what I wanted to do was I wanted to open a brewery for the town.
Sure.
I fell in love with Safety Harbor, with the merchants. I just thought they would really benefit. It really, I mean, I hate to sound like too sappy, but
Relax, man.
it really was
Talking to the king of sap over here.
Yeah.
Might be the wild more, but I got a mild side. So yeah.
It was very altruistic. I really wanted to do something that would like leave a mark. So
Cool,
I guess that was
man.
somewhat selfish, but I really thought that the town would really benefit from
That's
it.
awesome.
And it would help the town grow. It would help the other merchants. It would be something cool for the city. And that in my mom's memory was really the driving force. I never thought about, is this thing going to make money?
Sure.
I mean, you know, but I think that's like, that's kind of the craft beer way. I mean,
Sure.
maybe less so now. Maybe people are like, there's smarter money getting involved in it, you know, whatever, quote unquote smarter. But like like a lot of us we're just passionate about something, whether it's
Sure.
like making beer, you know, getting beer into the mouths of other people, or just, you know, opening a facility that would allow people to be able to do that. I think it's a very generous kind of giving approach to business. And that's kind of, that was in my mind. I really never thought about, like, I just thought, wow, this is going to be cool.
Yeah.
If we get this thing
Really
open,
cool.
this is going to be awesome.
Sure. And so now
Yeah.
10 years later,
Yeah.
it's still cool.
It's
right?
still very cool. I mean, craft beer's having, you know, maybe a little bit of some headwinds right now. You know,
just a lot of it. That's
Yeah.
all. It's one of those things where the cost of entry in the market is X, and a lot of people got into it. But I think that, you know, only the strong survive, just like
Right.
restaurants, right? Plus, we had a craft beer explosion. I'm sure you know about it from the folks that are like, all these years ago, I was part of the Dunedin Brewers Guild.
Okay.
And so it was a homebrew thing. And that's
Yeah.
what happened to me. The Doubles, good old TVBC, when they used to have their place over on Waters, they had this little place. And I went over there on a Saturday and learned how to make beer on a sidewalk. And then I made a bunch of it. And I got to a point where I actually submitted some into some competition, state fair, went out to the Great American Beer Festival. I didn't go, but my beers did. And I won a silver. I was like, wow.
Wow.
I didn't write anything down. I could never reproduce it. And it was all from the ingredients that I got from the Doubles store over there on
Wow.
Waters. So pretty crazy
That's
stuff.
awesome.
But the next level was, okay, you're going to buy this, and you're going to lose your garage. And Mama said, no, let's just go buy beer instead. So that's where we are now. All right, let's talk about Crooked Thumb. So you're over at Safety Harbor, of course. Is it crookedthumb.com? How do you find
Crooked
it?
Thumb Brew, 2Bs.
crookedthumbbrewing.com.
.com.
2Bs.com. All right.
Yep.
And a telephone number?
Well, that is a great question.
That's okay. Don't worry about it. If they can't find
You
it
can
there,
Google
just go watch somebody else's show.
I think it's
All right.
just work
Yeah.
on my phone.
Yeah, there you go.
So,
if you can't find the website, then you're an idiot. That's
Yeah.
all. So, all right.
Or
and-
Facebook, Instagram.
Yeah, there you
TikTok.
go. You do all that good stuff. All right, so what do you got going on? What's your number one brew from Crooked Thumb now, or maybe over the time? And what do you got released today for the festival?
Yeah, so we make a lot of beers.
Okay.
Our brewer is terrific. He was UC Davis Master Brewers Program. He was at Deschutes. He was a brewer at in Vegas. I can't think of the name of it offhand, but he's very technical and true to tradition. You know, wants natural ingredients.
Sure.
And I feel like our edge, or just kind of our calling card, is the variety of beers that he makes.
Okay.
We've never been, you know, our distributor has always wanted us to be like, well, what are you the brewer of, you know, in the distribution game? And that's a whole probably another
There's only so much
thing.
shelf space, and we
Yeah.
know that. That's the challenge there.
But like our distributor has so many suppliers. When they got boots on the ground, they want an individual supplier. But you're known for this style. You're known for that style. You're
Sure.
known, you know. So what is your one thing? And like at the breadth of beers is really our thing.
Okay.
And I think that's why people come to our tap room.
Yep.
And we always have a ton of beers on tap. But in the market, they want it to be a little more focused. So I guess to answer your question, like Harbor Lager, it's a Vienna style lager, is probably the one we sell most in the market.
Okay.
And some of that is just because it fits best in our distributor's portfolio.
Gotcha.
But like Grandpa Jack's Pils has been our most award-winning beer.
And you have those beers at the festival today? People trying them?
Grandpa Jack's Pils is here. That was a gold medal winner multiple times, best Florida beer.
There you go. Now you're
Yeah.
talking. That's where I was headed. So
Yeah.
you won some medals. Cool.
Oh yeah. And we've also that won Best in Show one year for the Oktoberfest event. So that's our most decorated beer, and that's the one that all the
I've
brewers
never
love
tried
to
it.
drink.
I'm gonna do it.
Have a Grandpa Jack's. That's a good beer, and that was
Love it.
named after my partner there, Sherry. It's her dad's name, Jack,
Okay.
and
Hi, Sherry. Just kidding. It's okay.
in the morning he has like a whole tray of pills that he takes, you know. And I remember one time he was in the kitchen and I said something to my kids. I'm like, oh, it's Grandpa Jack's pills, and I was like, oh, that'd be a hell of a name for a pilsner.
Beautiful.
And so there we go. That's the origin of Grandpa Jack's pills.
I love it.
And then we have a fruited sour here. It's a mango pineapple sour called like that.
Okay.
It's delicious.
All right, good stuff. And so, how many tap handles do you have right now currently in your tap room?
30.
30.
And I think we might have 30 beers on tap. We just finished our Oktoberfest, which we bring in a bunch of we make a bunch of German styles.
Yeah.
And then we followed that up with our 10th anniversary. So we did, a ton of beers. We have a lot of different, like, really interesting styles. I couldn't even know the menu off the top of my head, but I bet we have got 25 beers probably on tap right now.
So Kip, when you make a batch, right, unless it's a proven batch, how large a batch do you make?
Well, our brew house is 15 barrels.
Okay.
So like a Harbor Lager pills, we will double batch and make 30 at a time. Maybe like a more like experimental beer or a beer with a shorter shelf life, we might make a half batch, so like 7 barrels.
Okay.
And then we've been doing some collaborations too, so that way we can make a full batch and then we know that we're going to share that with the brewery that we collaborate with.
Okay, cool. All right. And Christmas is coming. Do we have anything on tap coming up?
Oh yeah, Frosty Nibs. That's the jam.
That is the jam. I love that beer.
Right.
That's the one, man. Yes.
That's a great beer. That's
Folks,
a gold.
It's called Frosty Nibs. That's the one, and it's delicious. Oh my gosh! Even if you don't like beer, it has this peppermint kind of overtone to it. It's got a great mouthfeel, great nose, and it'll put you in the spirit. That's the one I remember. Frosty Nibs. Sure, it's good stuff.
That actually.
When is that coming out?
That releases November 14th. It's coming up.
Beautiful.
Yep.
So do we sleep outside and wait for you to open, or is it a quiet invitation only thing? What are they doing on the 14th to get in there?
It depends on the year, Sometimes there is like you got to get in there and people get it. But
how big a batch?
I think we made enough of that this year. I think we made at least 30 barrels of that, and it's in cans as well as draft. I don't think we're going to send cans out into the market this year. I think we're going to sell them all at the brewery.
Sure. That makes it cool and special.
Yeah, come to the brewery.
We will. We will absolutely
appreciate
do that.
all the support.
And the kids were there, and then food. I'm trying to remember what your food situation was.
Well, that's our big initiative right now. We have food trucks on the weekends. We're only allowed per the city code to have trucks for 5 hours, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
Okay.
After 3 o'clock.
All right.
So it's limited. And we are currently trying to get on the city commission agenda so that we can have the code revised so that we can have retail food as an ancillary use.
Sure.
Whenever we're open. And if that's the case, we would do something. Are you familiar with the Woodwright in Dunedin?
I am not.
It's a great brewery, a lot of German styles.
I'll write it down.
They have a food truck that's been like it's stationary, and then they built it out to look like a building.
I got you.
And so it's kind of a grab and go. But we've been we have a couple of different food trucks that we are really close friends with, that we really like their food, and we'll probably partner with one of them. But it's all contingent on the city passing this change.
Bottom line is, you go on a Friday or Saturday, you're not going to go hungry. There's food trucks out there. You're good to go.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's so cool, man.
Right.
Frosty Nibs. That's
Nibs.
the one. Frosty Nibs, folks. It's a terrific holiday beer. And when you hear it, it's one thing. You taste it, it's another. And I will tell you the other thing about that. Like, normally, to me anyway, my palate says I can't do a lot of like a beer like that because it gets too sweet. It gets no.
Yeah.
That's okay. I have to tell myself, no, I can't have it anymore. This is so good. It's such a great beer. Great beer.
And
What's the alcohol in there?
That's probably a 5. It's a mid 5 because it's got a little bit extra sugar in it. But Kenji's approach to brewing is balance. And he wants you to have a third beer. Like that's the thought. So, and that's not business related.
Not the 30th, just the third.
And that's not like to try to get you to drink more. It's that if you get that third beer, that means that you weren't overwhelmed with one kind of side or the other. And that's a good indicator that the beer is in balance. So Frosty Nibs, although it is sweeter, it's not. There's lactose in there, but it's not like overly sweet.
Well, and I don't want to say Crooked Thumb that it's the only thing they make, but it's damn good. I'll give you that. That's a Wild Boar, two tusks up probably. Two
Oh, we
up.
give
I think
tusks?
that's- I didn't think about it. It just came to me. Like,
Oh,
two
no,
tusks
I'm
up.
glad. I'm glad I
you go.
spurred that creativity.
I love it, man. I love it. Well, Kip, thank you for coming
Yeah,
by,
thanks.
my
This was
man.
great.
Thanks for being out
Thank
here.
you so much.
God bless you. Thanks
Yeah.
for being in Oldsmar.
Yep.
Don't be a stranger. Make sure you share this with your friends. We'll do the same thing. And folks, it's the Wild Boar Show. It is the wildboarshow.com, right? There we go. And it's the Crooked Thumb Brewery. CrookedThumbBrewery.com.
Correct? No, I'm sorry. Oh, I didn't know you were going that way.
That's
CrookedThumbBrew.com.
Yeah, we'll get there. Crooked. Yeah. Thank you, Trent. He just did this and told me that we'll have it on screen. So check them out, friends, for sure. You know what? Support your local businesses. We have fantastic talent. Here's another one right here in the Safety Harbor, Oldsmar area. Thanks so much for tuning into the Wild Boar Show. Appreciate all of you, dude. Thank you all so much. We're out.